So in this lesson, we're diving into Ethereum, a cryptocurrency and blockchain platform that has revolutionized the blockchain space. By the end of this lesson, you'll know what Ethereum is and why it's important, how Ethereum is different from Bitcoin, and what makes Ethereum so powerful and unique. While Bitcoin is often called digital gold, Ethereum has a different goal. It's designed to be a global platform for innovation and new ideas. So let's dive in. So, what is Ethereum? Ethereum is a blockchain platform similar to Bitcoin, but with much broader capabilities. Here's what makes Ethereum special. The first point is that it allows people to create what's called smart contracts. And these are digital agreements that automatically execute when conditions are met. The second point is that it powers decentralized application, which are known as DApps. Apps that run without needing a central authority like a company or server. And the third point is that it has its own cryptocurrency called the Ether, ETH, which is used to pay for transactions and power the network. Think of Ethereum as a giant decentralized computer where anyone can create secure tools, programs, and agreements on the blockchain. And again, these are all ideas we'll be exploring over the next lessons. So why was Ethereum created? Ethereum was created in 2015 by a guy called Vitalik Buterin, who is a developer who saw the potential for blockchain to go beyond just money. Here's why Ethereum was needed. Bitcoin was revolutionary because it introduced the idea of a secure, decentralized currency. But Bitcoin was designed mainly for sending and storing value, like digital cash. Vitalik and his team wanted to build a blockchain that could handle more than just transactions. They envisioned a platform where people could create agreements and contracts on their own, and so these are the smart contracts, and then also build apps and tools that operate securely without needing a central authority. Ethereum is like the next generation of blockchain technology, taking what Bitcoin started and expanding its possibilities. And if you'll remember in prior lessons, the blockchain is essentially like a full list or a notebook of all transactions that happen, whether it's on Bitcoin or Ethereum. And there are different types of blockchains. There's a different blockchain for Bitcoin and there's a different blockchain for Ethereum. But it's a technology that allows you to create a list or a notebook of all these transactions. To understand Ethereum better, let's compare it to Bitcoin in simple terms. So the first point is around the purpose. Bitcoin is a digital currency and a store of value. On the other hand, Ethereum is a platform for creating tools, apps, and agreements on the blockchain. The second point is around the cryptocurrency. Bitcoin uses Bitcoin, or BTC. Ethereum, on the other hand, uses Ether, ETH, as its currency. And the third point is around the flexibility. Bitcoin is built for one specific purpose, which is secure, decentralized payments. Ethereum, on the other hand, is more flexible. It's like a toolkit for developers to create anything they imagine. So Ethereum is different from Bitcoin because it can do much, much more. Here are some of Ethereum's key features. The first is smart contracts. These are self-executing contracts that run automatically when certain conditions are met. The second are decentralized applications, or DApps. These are apps that run on the Ethereum blockchain instead of relying on traditional servers. And the third is custom programming. Developers can create their own programs and tools, making Ethereum extremely flexible. These features make Ethereum a platform for creativity and innovation. So you might be wondering, what are smart contracts? Smart contracts are one of Ethereum's most important features. Here's what they do. So a smart contract is like a digital agreement that doesn't need a middleman, like a bank or a lawyer. Once the terms of the contract are met, the contract automatically executes. For example, imagine you're renting an apartment. a smart contract could be programmed to automatically transfer the payment to the landlord on the first of each month. So there's no need for reminders, checks, or delays. Smart contracts make transactions faster, cheaper, and more secure by removing the need for third parties. Ethereum is often called programmable money because it lets people program how money and agreements work. With Bitcoin, you can send and receive payments, and that's it. But with Ethereum, you can create smart contracts that automate tasks and apps and tools that interact with money. For example, a developer could create a tool that automatically splits profits among team members when a project is completed. This programmability is why Ethereum is such a game changer. It makes blockchain useful for more than just payments. Ethereum's cryptocurrency is called Ether, ETH, and it plays a key role in the network. The first is around being a fuel for the network. Ether is used to pay for transactions and run apps on Ethereum. Without Ether, nothing on the network would work. And the second point is around being a reward for miners. Miners who help secure the Ethereum blockchain are rewarded with Ether, very similarly to the way Bitcoin miners are rewarded with Bitcoin when they help secure a transaction. Think of Ether as the gas or fuel that powers the Ethereum engine. It keeps everything running smoothly. So let's dive deeper into the differences between Bitcoin and Ethereum. First, what's the purpose? Bitcoin is like digital gold, a way to store and transfer value. Ethereum, on the other hand, is like a digital toolbox for creating apps, agreements, and tools. The second point is around the supply. Bitcoin has a strict supply of 21 million coins. Ethereum, on the other hand, doesn't have a set limit, but its supply grows at a controlled rate. And the third is around energy use. Bitcoin uses this concept of proof of work to mine coins, which requires a lot of energy. And if you'll remember from a prior lesson, we spoke about Bitcoin mining. Proof of work is essentially solving puzzles and solving formulas in order to add a transaction to the blockchain. And that whole process requires a ton of energy. Ethereum, on the other hand, is moving to this concept of proof of stake, which we'll be discussing in a later lesson. And this is a greener, more energy efficient system. It's very similar to proof of work where you're solving puzzles, but again, it's much more energy efficient. One of Ethereum's greatest strengths is its flexibility. Bitcoin was built for one purpose, which is secure and decentralized payments. Ethereum, on the other hand, was built to handle many tasks, thanks to smart contracts and decentralized apps. This flexibility has made Ethereum the foundation for entire industries, including decentralized finance, which are tools for borrowing, lending, and trading without banks, NFTs, which are unique digital items like art or collectibles, and then gaming, games that run directly on the blockchain with player-owned items and rewards. While Ethereum is powerful, it also has some challenges. The first is around scalability. The network can become slow and congested when too many people use it. The second is around high fees. Transaction fees, which are called gas fees, can be expensive during busy times. The other point is around competition. Other blockchains like Solana and Cardano, which we'll be talking about in another class, are trying to offer faster and cheaper alternatives. And the fourth and final point is around energy use. Ethereum is transitioning to a greener system, but it has faced a lot of criticism for its energy consumption in the past. So despite all these challenges, Ethereum has completely changed the way people use and interact with blockchain technology. It's made blockchain more useful for developers. It's created entirely new industries like decentralized finance and NFTs. And it's shown how blockchain can go beyond just payments to handle agreements, tools, and apps. Ethereum isn't just a blockchain, it's a platform for creativity and innovation. To summarize, Ethereum is a blockchain platform for creating apps, tools, and smart contracts. It's powered by Ether, which fuels its network. and it's different from Bitcoin because it's more flexible and programmable. Ethereum is like the next step in blockchain technology, offering tools for a more innovative, decentralized future. In the next lessons, we'll explore Ethereum's features like smart contracts and decentralized apps in more detail. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.